You're listening to Linked AM. Tell your story on Linked Live and get noticed. You're listening to Karl Wolfenden on the Business Class Show and is not always affiliated with the guests and the topics discussed. Any financial statements are the opinions of the individual, and you should seek professional advice before making any decisions. Upgrade your listening to Business Class, the show that puts you in the big leather comfy seats. So sit back and enjoy our take on the trending business issues of the week.
Howdy, folks. Here he is, the Texas Brit, the guy with the stiff upper lip, filling his 10-gallon hat and his cowboy boots, Karl Wolfenden.
Good morning, and welcome to Linked AM here on Business Class News. And oh my goodness, we're now well into the fourth quarter. Well into it. We just started November. And so, of course, as we've been doing on other shows, etc., we've been talking about, how you should be starting to be planning for, next year. You should be putting things in place. You should be starting to really go after going back to your existing clients and making sure that everything's shored up there, etc. And we've been having conversations about that. So we've been having a really good time, really sort of just getting, the ship in order as such and going through that process. And we call that, as we've done for the past 5 years, my goodness, 5 years, race to the start line. And of course, part of that process is planning, but it's also, trying to understand what are you going to be doing, in 2021. And I thought, what? I came across, we've got lots and lots of clients that we like to say thank you to, etc. And I came across a great company called JuJu Begifting. And I've got the founder, and of course I think she calls herself the head creator. I'm going to ask more about that, but I was intrigued about how she started the business and how it sort of evolved, etc. Over the past 2 years. That's how long it's been going. So I think she's in year 2 now. So I've got Courtney Mamuscia. Is that how I pronounce the last name?
You got it.
Mamuscia. I have to say it in Italian. Mamuscia. That's right. In an Italian accent. I like that. You see, there you go. I get nervous because I've got a strange last name, Wolfenden, and I always get nervous when I say somebody else's last name because I want to get it right. But anyway, Mamuscia. So Courtney, thank you for joining me this morning. It's great to have you on the show. And as I just said in my intro, we were looking at different ideas, etc., for our own purposes, and I came across your company, and it's called JuJu Begifting. So tell me more about, first of all, what made you start such a great company, and explain what it is.
Sure. So yes, to your point, I launched JuJu Begifting about 2 years ago. But prior to that, I had the idea probably about a year and a half before that, because as everyone knows, it takes a little bit of time to research and come up with a company and make sure that it's a good fit in the market. But the whole idea kind of manifested and came about one night when I was sitting with some friends for dinner, and we were chatting about some of our life struggles, right? So at that point of time, we were renovating our house, which is extremely stressful, as anyone can attest to. My parents were both dealing with some health issues, which was really scary. We have friends, we're in that age group that are starting to get divorced, unfortunately, and just a lot of major life changes, from career to babies to, happiness, sadness. So I was chatting with my friends and saying, there's really no intentional gifts out there. Sure, you can send somebody a bottle of wine or send flowers, but really there was nothing that kind of told a story and took the user on an experience. And my whole idea of, JuJu Begifting was kind of looking at life and whatever that curveball that the universe throws at you, whether it's good or bad, and kind of shaking up that positivity. So if it's like bad juju, getting rid of that, bringing on the good juju. So everything that I really wanted to put in these boxes had kind of a little bit of spirituality with wanting to teach people different rituals, whether it's taking a bath or reading a book or having more me time or, learning how to cook. And then, my personality is a little sassy. So I wanted to have things that were like a little funny and lighthearted and just get people over that hump or help celebrate them. So that's where the idea came from, and, took a little time to launch, but here we are today.
Well, I think that's great because, one of the things I think is you just said, especially in this, unusual time that we're in, we all we're all sat at home or working from home or whatever. And it's a little bit different from being inside of an office environment. I mean, we're business class news. And so we're focused on, celebrating, businesses like yourself of how you went through that that initial stage of developing the concept and then bringing it all the way through to where you are today, where you're delivering, products and services and things that that the customer wants as such. And you've done that research, which I think is awesome. But I think also the nice thing about your products, as you say, it's not just one thing. You can buy a themed sort of, as you said, journey, so I see, when I was going through it, there's books that take you through, steps by step to take you through that, how to cook, etc. But then there's the other things that go alongside it that make it fun and sort of engaging. And I think that's an unusual and a unique way of saying thank you to clients and customers, isn't it? If you're a business.
Yeah. And I will say, initially when I launched the business, it was more kind of the B2C realm, right? So my positioning was, I want to help consumers out there, celebrating a birthday or going through a breakup or, someone dealing with cancer or the loss of someone or moving into a new home or new career. And then over, the last 2 years, it's morphed into a lot of corporate clients who are looking for more than just, a bottle of wine and a branded Yeti mug. They want something that actually, kind of communicates their messaging and lets their clientele know that they care, right? So, as a consumer myself and a customer for other companies out there, I would rather have something that was like, hey, this year was really hard. We didn't get to see you. Here's like a box of self-care, like spend some time refreshing. Can't wait to see you next year. We're still here for you. We did this together. We survived. Let's see how we can make this great for 2021. So that's what a lot of, corporate clients are doing, is really just that intentional, thoughtful gifting where everything is customized. It does take you on that journey and really, elevates you a step ahead of other companies that are just sending, golf balls, which is fine. But,
No, that's right. And that's a big point. I mean, at the end of the day, if we've always said on this show, and we talk about marketing all the time, about making yourself valuable, building relationships, with your customers, then if you just send a bottle of wine or a bottle of bourbon or whatever, or golf balls, and as you say, I've done it before and everything, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if you want to stand out and become unique, then having something like what you offer sent out makes them think, oh, this person's thought about us. They took some time to actually, decide what I'm going to send you, rather than just send out that standard thing. So that's what I applaud about you. So you've got a whole variety of different JuJus as such, haven't you? out there. Is that the way I would say it? I don't know.
I would. If you think about JuJu, it's, sort of like people say good JuJu, bad JuJu. So mine's all about bringing on like the positivity in life. And it's funny with the first year of business, and anybody could attest to this, you're still really testing your idea in the marketplace. And, you learn so much about who your customer is, and you tweak everything about your business as far as like, okay, well, this product's selling, this one's not. I bought way too much of this, not enough of this. I mean, it's just this roller coaster of learning. And then in year 2, you really are better positioned to go after your specific niche target market. And this year has been very interesting in the respect that, there's a pandemic, and I think for me, my boxes are all about, like kind of that positivity and like that sass and that humor and like the lightheartedness that a lot of people need right now, right? From like care packages to, COVID at home care, whatever it is. It's been a really great year for me because I think people are needing stuff like this in their life where they're like, hey, I'm stuck at home. Like I need some bubble bath and I need like something to do with my time. I mean, we're all trying to figure out what to do and occupy our time. I mean, I've had plenty of scotch and wealth.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's putting those things together and saying, okay, now what I really like is your website is so intuitive. It's so really, because you got the videos on there that I can watch and sort of look at the different, you're talking about, as the head creator. I want to talk about that in a second, but it's one of those things where when you go on the website, you can choose what type of theme that you want, etc. And I suppose really now everyone's doing things with online ordering and things like that. It's a great way to do it. You don't have a physical store. You're all online, aren't you?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's been interesting because obviously most people know that, you buy from people, right? So we do business with people that we like, that we know, that we trust. So it has been challenging in this year, particularly not to have that face-to-face time with people where historically I've been doing a bunch of like, gifting shows and events and networking with realtors and small businesses and, other female entrepreneurs. So it's been difficult in that way where you're kind of having to use creative ways to communicate with other businesses and make sure that you're growing your business, right?
Yep.
So online is, where I'm at, where I live, and trying to, creatively come up with concepts for partnerships where, you could have done this in person before, but now you're sort of like, okay, how can we host a virtual event for the holiday? And what does that look like? And how can we all work together and share databases and share like-minded, customers? So a lot of, my entrepreneurial friends like that we're all trying to work together and figure out how we can grow our businesses in this time of, unprecedented.
Yeah.
Whatever.
One of the things that I've realized is that the consumer, the other end, the customer, doesn't matter if it's B2B, B2C, whatever, the customer has become more attuned to actually doing business in a different way. And so, for example, I know a lot of on my network as such, they would never go on a video conference. Oh no! I'm going to have an in-person meeting. I want a cup of coffee in my hand, etc. Well, they were forced to do it. Now they're having to sort of get used to that. I've now started to download apps so I can go and buy food, for the family, and I for the first time ever, I did one on the groceries thing, and I drove up, and I would never have done that before. I would have gone around with my shopping cart, going around and picking everything. I did everything online, and it told me when to pick it all up. And I went there, and I just pressed my button. My hatchback came up, and they put it in. I was like, this is cool. So I think, people are starting to attune themselves. And so what you just said about the gifting shows, which are still important. I mean, events are very important to actually, face-to-face. But I think things have changed. And it's taken the past 8 months for people to start to get to that comfort level. So I'm going to be sharing, of course, the website for the viewers and listeners and readers of Business Class News to actually go and check your website out. Because as I say, it's intuitive and it's got so many choices there. So, how long did it take you to get that design? I mean, has that been a journey?
Yeah, that's been a journey. I mean, I kind of launched with, I'd say, probably just 5 gift boxes because I think, and this is something learning lesson, right? When you launch a business is I think a lot of people feel like they need to have everything perfect, right? Like the website needs to be perfect. My product portfolio needs to be perfect. Everything has to be dialed in. And, I'll say that it's such an evolution to my point earlier that I just learned so much. And, when I first launched, I bought so many products of one thing that didn't sell, that I'm sitting on inventory. And now I've become smarter where I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy 20 instead of 200, right? So you kind of, morph and grow and learn and realize like what you need and how you need to do it. And then, my gift box collection, the kind of the curated gift boxes that I have, we probably have over 50 right now. And then I'm building out the ability to build a box so people will be able to kind of browse through some of the products that I have to curate their own. And then with a lot of the corporate clients, obviously, their specifics as far as what they want to communicate are a little bit more tailored and, more corporate. So I typically work pretty close, like hand in hand with corporate clients to understand, again, their goals, what they want to communicate, if it's for male, for female, how many, so I really do try and make it as customized and personalized with their names and like, whatever industry they're in to kind of weave in some of that copy too, to make it like a little bit thoughtful.
Well, that's great. So what you're saying is that corporate clients can actually book a consultation with you and start to have that one-on-one dialogue as you grow that relationship with them. That's excellent. That's excellent.
That's the head creator. See, I'm helping create the boxes.
So how did that come up? I know you're the founder, but head creator, that's what you have these ideas in your head and you just put them out there.
I try. Yeah. I've definitely been in, high tech marketing most of my life, but an entrepreneurial at heart. So it's been fun to kind of launch this and go on this journey and have, the experience and knowledge of here's what I know, but kind of throw that out the window. Because once you launch your own company, like everything sort of like goes phew, and you're learning on the go. I would say like I went to business school and learned a ton, but there's nothing that teaches you more like launching your own business and just riding the roller coaster. Honestly, it's a crazy ride.
Well, I tell you, I mean, we tell stories all the time on Business Class News, and this is a great story to listen to because you've done it, as you said. I mean, it's funny, I interview a lot of people, and it's very similar where they say, I've been in the corporate world, and then as soon and I do all this stuff, and there's all this processes and things like that, but then all of a sudden I get put into, entrepreneurship as such. And as you say, it is out of the window because you're having to test, you're having to have that conversation as such. So I love it. I love it. So unfortunately, we're coming up to the end of our time, but I know, when I'm going to have you back on because there's all these different things I want to talk to you about. But I'm going to put on the website, on Business Class News, the website of your company. And again, just remind the viewers and the listeners, what's the website address and just how you can get to you.
Yep. So the website is JuJu Be Gifting. I'll spell that out. So JuJuBeGifting.com. So if you go to the website, you can get a hold of me through email. My number's on there. I'll have Karl make it pretty readily available to all of you, but I would love to work with any gifting needs, whether it's for your team, for your customers, for your top partners, for your best friend, for your family. Everybody could really use some good vibes, I think, from what we've all endured this year and going into 2021 with lots of fingers crossed that it's going to be the best year yet. But my company is all about bringing on, an experience in a box and that positivity and light and laughter and just what we all need is a little bit of good JuJu.
Oh, Courtney, I love your positivity, your energy, your enthusiasm. So thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. As I say, it's an example for us all to listen to. And, I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be ordering some gifts from you guys. So I really appreciate your time today. And thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
That, of course, was Courtney Mamuscia. And, of course, what a great story. I mean, at the end of the day, listen to that story and then understand that, yeah, you have a vision, and then there's a journey that you have to go on. And that journey is understanding your customers, actually delivering on what you're going to promise to your customers. And then, you have to be flexible, you have to be nimble, and you have to really adjust your business processes as such. And as Courtney said, it's all out of the window when you start your own business, but it's fun. And as you can tell, Courtney's business is fun. And you got to go to that website. The website's on the screen right now, and go and click on it. And there'll be an article as well that you can read a little bit more and then get hold of Courtney and her team. And they can start designing your gifting for your company directly. So thank you for joining me this morning. It's been fun. And as I always say, go out there, have some fun, make some money because we're in business, but be safe out there. Wear the mask and do all the good things that you need to do to keep safe. So thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.